Hey everybody! Hi. I am Mike Dukes. This is Nick Gray. You know where we're at?
Where are we?
We're at Kokomo Toys and Collectibles, the crowning jewel of toy stores in all of the Midwest. Dare I say, all the United States.
Yeah. I didn't know where I was because I was kidnapped with a black bag and brought here.
We have guys for that. We don't pay anybody else, but we pay them.
Yeah. You gotta pay them because otherwise they black bag you.
Yeah. That kind of blow, actually.
Yeah.
So what's been going on with you? What kind of geeky stuff's going on with the Nick Gray?
Well, I mean, just not too much, but a lot of great sci-fi stuff coming out this year and this into the summer. I've been looking forward to. There's a new Pathfinder RPG coming out that is sci-fi themed. It's Starfinder, oddly enough, because Pathfinder's Starfinder. But it's really piqued my interest. So I've been on a big sci-fi kick with pretty much everything. And last time I was on the show, I was talking about Mass Effect, sci-fi. So I don't know. I've gotten into a big sci-fi kick, and
I don't know if Lauren told you, because you were out when we were making our decision of what we were going to play.
Yeah.
I brought up playing Star Wars.
Oh, okay.
And the only argument was Starfinder was coming out, and you guys would no doubt be playing it, and then that could clash.
Yeah. I before they made their bigger announcement, because they'd already announced they're doing it. I was actually looking at Star Wars, and because I have a couple of the box sets for that, and we looked at that, and I've always enjoyed the mythos there. But
it's a great game. If you haven't played Fantasy Flight Games, Star Wars role-playing game, Edge of the Empire, I completely forgot what the name of the middle one was. Age of Rebellion and Force and Destiny. 3 different types of play, they all commingle together. Great role-playing game. There's some interesting dice mechanics.
The dice were my one thing because I bought the beta rules in 2000 and
the one that had the stickers in the book.
Yep, had the stickers, and it was a paperback book. So I got that. I picked that up when I was at Gen Con, whenever that was. That came out the year before they actually released it. And the dice were the one thing that almost pushed me away, because I was. Fantasy Flight, if you're unaware of Fantasy Flight, they make a lot of very nice board games, but they're very big on their chits and pieces and their stuff. So when they came up with their own game, they came up with, you have to use their own dice. So that kind of perturbs me a little bit. But
I found that the dice app that they've made, is $5, saves a lot of that headache. Yeah. I think only one guy at my table actually used the physical dice. Everybody else was using the app. It's got cool little sound effects. Every time you roll, there's blaster fire and whatnot. It kind of adds to the game overall.
Yeah, that's cool. I'll have to check that out. So I'm not opposed to it.
I mean, it adds everything together, so it tells you how many successes, how many advantages. So it makes it a little quicker, easier, and you don't have to go out and buy sets of dice that you will use for nothing else.
Yeah, that's my big problem. So, in other sci-fi news, the big announcement that was kind of a surprise, I didn't know. Orville, Seth MacFarlane, sci-fi show.
Okay, interesting thing about this, if you're a Trek fan, then you know Star Trek Discovery was announced some time back. There's been, I think, 2 or maybe 3 still images released.
Yeah, it's been very,
that's it.
Very little.
I mean, originally I thought it was supposed to debut around
because they didn't
May
even put
June.
out, as they were casting, they kept the casting real under wraps, and they slowly let the cast out. And then even from there, you didn't see a cast photo. Usually you get a full cast,
on the bridge or something.
Yeah, on the garb or something, at least in front of something that says, Star Trek, but nothing.
Not
nothing
this time. So, everyone's been clamoring for information about Discovery. And then all of a sudden, Orville, a Star Trek spoof, and I have to tell you, if you haven't seen this trailer, you need to go right now, stop this, go look at that trailer. Because even though they mention TV series early on while the trailer's running, it looks like a movie.
I actually watched the whole trailer and thought it was Seth MacFarlane's new movie, because I was like, oh, it's okay, he has a new movie coming out that I had no idea of. And then, like, I rewatched it, and nothing in the trailer makes me think it's a TV series, to be quite honest. And then I like read the little blurb about it, and like, series starting this fall, new hard date. I'm like, wait, series? And it's on Fox, because I thought Fox was backing it. So yeah, it's a comedy sci-fi TV series. Very, very Star Trek-esque.
McFarlane's a big Trek fan. If you ever watch Family Guy, there's a lot of little Trekisms in there. He's had the cast on, I think, 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see if he gets any of them into that show, assuming it does well enough to go on. But
I could actually see William Shatner doing it, because he has wanted to be in the new Trek films, and they keep pushing him out.
Yep. That I could see him. I could see Will Wheaton. But yeah, it's it takes place in their unified Federation worlds, I think, or unified worlds, or whatever their term is, and they go on adventures. He's the new captain. It almost starts in the trailer, at least, that you see. He's aboarding the ship just like very Picard-esque.
Yep.
He's taking over command of the Orville, which is his ship. So it has that scene where they're all gathered in the docking bay, like the original, or not the original, but the Next Generation kind of first episode was.
There are many moments watching that trailer, you're like, I've kind of seen that episode. I've kind of seen that in a movie. They just borrow just imagery from some of the the various Treks.
Imagery, some of the blocking, I think is very much very Star Trek-esque in some points, and you can definitely see Seth MacFarlane's cinematic hand. But it's interesting. I don't know. Will it do well? Will it be received well? Seth MacFarlane seems to be, with his live action stuff, I think, real hit and miss.
Yes, Ted did well. Ted 2 and his 100 Ways to Die in the West just kind of.
There's a lot of people that will really defend that movie. I'll be honest, I never watched it.
I didn't think it was bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Seth MacFarlane. I'll pretty much watch anything he does. And now that I've seen this, I'm definitely interested.
I'll watch it. I'm not sure how commercially viable it's going to be.
Well, my thinking, okay, one, we heard nothing about it. It just appeared out of nowhere. Yeah. And then to follow that up with the Star Trek thing, the very next day, oh, look, the first Star Trek Discovery trailer.
Yeah. So that was weird to me, too. Discovery. I was like, oh, hey, it's the Star Trek. It's the actual one.
The real Star Trek.
Yeah, hey. So that was pretty interesting. And then, we actually got a very decently length trailer. It wasn't like a teaser, which I kind of almost assumed that they were just going to be. It was going to be like a ship and a star, and then maybe a flash of an alien, and then like Star Trek. That's what I assumed their first trailer would be. But no, we got a full trailer for, which again, their trailer looks very movie-like.
Movie-esque, yeah.
So let me ask you this thought, because they were doing that through CBS Full Access. So it's not actually going to air on TV.
That's why I think Orville might get a leg up, because it's on Fox.
Yep.
So anyone can watch it. Otherwise, you have to have that CBS All Access.
So I was absolutely floored and amazed that they are trying to do it exclusively through the CBS Access.
Well, if you're in Europe, it'll go directly to Netflix. That's the weird part.
Yeah, well, because the weird, all the different laws, or not laws, but the deals and stuff and different networks.
But I can see a lot of irate fans just over that. Yeah. Over in Europe, as long as they have Netflix, they can watch it. But we over here, we have Netflix and we can't watch it. We have to have your special access.
Yep, which is probably, I haven't looked in the price of CBS Access, but I'm assuming it's probably $5 a month.
I was thinking it was like 10 or 15.
10? 15? 5.8? Okay.
Something.
So yeah, I mean anything really over 5, in my opinion. I mean, you're just getting CBS shows, and I don't think CBS All Access has a big backlog. I don't think they have all of their older shows on there, do they?
Maybe, but still, I mean, what CBS shows are going to draw you to that? I mean, I can just see people getting the subscription just for Star Trek.
Yeah. $6.
$6.
$6 a month.
So yeah, I think that could end up hurting them in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, they're just stifling their viewership. So I don't know how that's going to play out. I think it looks good. It looks
phenomenal.
like it looks movie quality for at least from the trailer. Now, a lot of things can change. You can cut a trailer to look pretty much anything. Ask DC. So you can make stuff look good through a trailer, but I will say it looks very movie-esque in the quality of, I think, some of the effects that you saw in the trailer. Now, what time period is Discovery?
10 years prior to Kirk's original journey.
10 years prior to Kirk's journey. So, okay, so kind of in between Enterprise and,
That's one of the weird things. There are Klingons in this new series, and they do not look like... They're not the purely human looking with the bushy eyebrows from the original series. They're not the ridged heads from Next Generation.
I'll be honest, when I watched that trailer, I didn't know they were Klingons until
they
someone
look
said...
kind of reptilian more than anything.
Yeah, I saw the Klingon symbol pop up on the screen,
display, yeah.
And then there was like, we've made contact with Klingons. I was like, wait, where? When? Who? I was like, oh, those are Klingons. I'm like, okay, well, this looks completely different than all the other Klingons.
I mean, I've seen a very lengthy proposed explanation of why they look different from all the others.
So why, is it because of the timelines and?
No. Okay, the process that was used on Khan to make us superhuman. Back in Enterprise, I'm not sure which episode it was, the Klingons discovered that formula and thought it was going to be used as a weapon against them, so they thought, oh yeah, well, we'll use it on our own people and we'll become superhuman. It was designed for human DNA, and it caused a lot of them to die off, and those that didn't kind of started becoming human. So by the time of the original series, that's why so many of them look human.
Yeah.
But as a friend of mine pointed out, Kalis from, I think it was Kalis. Yeah, Kalis. They used DNA, cloned him. He had ridges. Kalis was from way back in the past, so I don't know. You can try and explain it away as best you want.
It's timey-wimey space stuff.
Timey-wimey. And the other interesting thing is there have been 2 announcements for captains, and 2 ship names have been mentioned. I can't think of what the original, one of the ships was. One's Discovery, and then there's another one. And then you have the captain shown in the trailer, and then the guy that played... You watched Harry Potter. Malfoy's father.
Oh, yeah.
That actor. I can't think of his name. He's another captain. So what I've heard is something occurs, and ship gets damaged and repurposed as the Discovery. So we may end up losing... I'm horrible.
If they're going to kill somebody off from the first thing, it should have been Sean Bean. They should have cast Sean Bean as the first captain. That way he can...
I think it's Michelle Yeoh, because...
Yeah, I think it is from the trailer.
Yeah.
So, because that first scene where they're kind of walking across the dunes and then get beamed up. So.
But it looks interesting. I
mean,
just don't know if I'll be getting CBS All Access to watch it.
Yeah, no, I'll see. I'll see if there's if I can watch it. If you get CBS All Access through your cable provider, I don't know if anybody's going to include that or not. But
I mean, like the app has popped up on my Amazon Fire, so I downloaded the app, but it's just. It's kind of like a game. The app is free. The content you have to pay for.
You can load it. It pops up. It's amazing.
So that way it'll just show up and go, look, Star Trek. Do you want it? Hey, what were your thoughts on monster movies?
Monster movies? I enjoy a good monster movie. Even a campy monster movie, really.
Okay. We've had trailers for the new Mummy movie with Tom Cruise. What are your thoughts on that? Because we always got a new trailer that's showing off Dr. Jekyll and his Hyde persona, and they kind of go into a little backstory as far as it's not just going to be a Tom Cruise vehicle. It's more of there's an organization at play that hunt monsters.
Yep. So Universal is trying to build their monster universe, like their cinematic universe at least. I mean, they have all the classic monsters, and a couple that they actually own. The creature, I believe, is exclusively theirs. They created it. And I thought there was another one, but I can't think if there is. If Sean was here, he'd correct me, or if Mike was.
Mike would always correct
Mike would definitely correct me right now. I expect
surprised he hasn't. If this was live, he'd be phoning in right now.
I expect to see a comment down below. But yeah, so they're trying to build their cinematic universe. Which they've already released the first one that most people, I think, kind of forget about, which was the Dracula Untold, or Unfold, or one of those, Untold. which didn't do very well in the box office. Didn't do very well as far as I know on release. And I think they're already retooling that, and that have not been the first launch for their new series.
That's my understanding, because that was an actual period piece.
Yeah.
And now everything's going to be modern day.
Yep. Yeah. So it looks interesting. When I first saw the very first trailer for Mummy, I was like, oh, they're making a new Mummy movie. Thinking Brendan Fraser Mummy movie, because that's the ones we've had for the last few years. And then I'm like, why is Tom Cruise in this? Why is this so dark and serious? I'm like, oh, it's Universal Mummy movie. So I was like, okay. So I watched the first trailer, and I didn't come away from it wanting to see that movie really at all. It's very...
At a glance, it was like Mission Impossible, and they tagged on a mummy.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, it's Mission Impossible Mummy. That is probably one of the best things you could say about that movie. So I wasn't super interested in it, and then I think this is the third trailer, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the second trailer I watched too, and it was all cut with Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is almost in every single shot except for a couple exclusive with the Mummy, and I'm like,
they might as well name the movie Tom Cruise with the Mummy.
Yeah, guest star. so they finally released this third trailer, and they even released the third trailer with a little bit of a kind of behind the scenes thing, which was kind of weird. I think it was. I am curious if it was in part to be like, hey, it's not just Tom Cruise. There's going to be some other stuff going on. But it kind of sets up, I think, the base of their cinematic universe. Now, I'll say this last trailer with that little behind the scenes thing, it looks more interesting to me.
It got my interest
because it's they introduce also in this one is apparently going to be introduced Dr. Jekyll, and he runs.
Prodigium.
The Prodigium, yes, thank you. And it was a P word. Prodigium, which is they protect the world from evil and they seek it out and destroy it. So it kind of lines up with the Dr. Jekyll mythos. And then you see that they're based in the Natural History Museum. So I think there's a couple interesting things there. Is it going to be enough to make that? They really need to bank on this movie being good and actually driving people, because I think if this movie doesn't kick off their universe,
If this fails, I
will.
don't see what kind of a future they're going to have unless they try and do a TV series kind of universe, Netflix it or something.
Yeah, I mean that might work, which it makes me a little sad because they haven't done the creature yet, and I like the creature from Black Lagoon.
Well, currently they've got this one, and then
which they Invisible.
Johnny Depp is cast as the Invisible Man. When that goes in production, I have no idea.
So he'll be invisible if this movie does.
So really, do you really need Johnny Depp as a name if he's going to be invisible for the majority of the movie? Just a pair of sunglasses and some head wrap.
Might make it better if you can't see him.
Yeah. So Invisible Man, I'll reserve judgment there till I see anything.
It just doesn't seem like a strong start per se.
Yeah, I would assume they would have done.
Dracula would have been the good start.
They started with Dracula, unfortunately, didn't do well. So I would have assumed they would have done Dracula, probably Wolfman, and then.
My guess is because we had a recent Wolfman, we had a recent Dracula, they didn't want to beat a dead horse too much, so they thought, well, the Mummy, we'll get Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise will make it sell.
Is Tom Cruise a Universal monster? Ooh.
They own a new monster, the Tom Cruise.
I can't wait for the remake.
Let's see, what else we got here?
Speaking of Tom Cruise, did you see they're making a sequel to... Oh, never mind. That's bad interlude, because I can't think of the name of the movie.
Sequel to Oh, Never Mind.
Yeah,
I'm not
never mind.
with that.
Day After Tomorrow, or whatever that time...
Oh, that, yes,
Yeah,
I did see
Day
that.
After Tomorrow, is that what it is?
Live, die, repeat.
Yeah, that was the catch tag.
Yeah.
The new ones.
Oh, is that what the new one's called?
But he's not in it from what I saw.
Oh, is he not?
What's their name? Is
I just saw the announcement, so...
the actress, I can't think of her name. She's in it, but I didn't see his name listed.
It's another movie I wasn't very...
Title is Live, Die, Repeat, and Repeat.
What was the original?
Look at that.
I figured it was right there.
Live on the Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow, yeah. I saw that announcement the other day. I mean, just a still shot of the original movie, but I was like, all right, well, I didn't think that movie did that well either, but, well, we'll make sequels. We're hard up for IP, so...
Remakes and sequels, that's pretty much Hollywood's bread and butter anymore. And superheroes.
Yeah.
Okay, we're on the monster movie kind of thing. TV-wise, Supernatural just finished their 12th season.
That's fairly unheard of with any TV series.
They're going into season 13 this fall, and they just announced.
Did they announce it's their last season, or is this?
No, they just said season 13. It's not their last. How long it could keep going, I have no idea.
Is it going to be Supernatural versus the nursing home at some point?
Possibly. But
Man.
they're doing a Scooby-Doo episode.
I saw that announcement. It'll be a Scooby-Doo animated crossover episode.
I mean, they've done little stuff like that before. Usually a trickster god or somebody shoves them in a TV program. That's happened in the past. It's kind of funny. How they get in a Scooby-Doo episode, I have no idea, but I'm
hoping there is a live action opening with like the Scooby-Doo and the gang. Like I want to see like a live action opening that goes into it or something.
It'd be hilarious to see a group of hunters in a green van, and then that's how it all. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I'm sure it's probably not their opening episode, so.
No, I don't think so.
So yeah, man, 12. That's just pretty crazy.
And they tried to do a spin-off series, and
Oh really? I don't remember that at all. So.
it was going to be monster-based. Instead of humans hunting, it's going to be a group of monsters in Chicago. They tried to set it up, and it tanked.
Yeah.
Tanked big time.
It's amazed me that Supernatural's gone on this long, that it has the viewership that it has, and people love it. I mean, at this point they've done like everything I could think of. Really, quite honestly, they've battled all the monsters, and
I mean, they're really kind of reaching now. Dagon, they had to bring the devil back. It's
yeah, man. Because I mean, that was one of the reasons I think Constantine TV series didn't do kind of well, is because
you'd already seen it in
yeah, it's like
Supernatural.
what were you about to see in Constantine? You've probably already seen it on Supernatural at this point.
They've
I feel like
pretty
if
much
Constantine
done
would
it.
have came out in like season 2 of Supernatural, maybe.
Then, yeah.
But
Although I really do think if Constantine could have been on the CW, because they've really got that locked as far as the
Yeah.
superhero thing, I think it could have continued.
done well. I kind of enjoyed the first 2 episodes of that, but it kind of tanked. No.
I don't know. Speaking of CW, if you're a Arrow fan or a Ninja Warrior fan, you might want to tune in to Ninja Warrior on May 25th. It's a special episode where they have celebrities on, and Stephen Amell, Green Arrow himself, is going to be on. I saw a little snippet. In that little snippet, he had already made it halfway through the course.
That's impressive.
I mean, the guy is in great shape. He does majority of his own stunts.
There's a lot of people that are in great shape on Ninja Warrior.
Celebrities, though. I mean, each celebrity was paired with an actual Ninja Warrior expert, but he practices parkour. The whole salmon ladder thing of season 1 of Arrow was a big deal for some reason. Apparently, having an actor that could actually do that was unheard of. But anyway, if you're interested in that sort of thing, May 25th, tune into that. Unfortunately, he was not wearing the Green Arrow costume.
He should have the hat on at least.
That would have made
like
it
the
epic.
original, like the original hat. He should have worn that.
That'd have been awesome. A little like Nerf bone arrow quiver or something. That'd be cool.
Yeah, see, I'm a thinker.
Hey, video game sort of video game. Okay, The Witcher. I've been told repeatedly that The Witcher is a game series I really should play because I would love it.
I'm a little amazed you haven't, but
Well, some people don't realize the video games were based off of a series of novels. Sad story about this. The author, let's see, what is his name? The author is, I'm going to get this name wrong. It's like Polish. Andrzej Sapkowski? He gave the license away for the video game. Literally gave it to them. He gets nothing from the video games. No royalties, nothing, because he didn't believe it would be worth anything.
yeah, just sad. I mean, the first one did well. The second one had an even bigger following, and it did even better. The third one absolutely was the one that people just ranted and raved and talked about. I mean, that's I'm not sure of numbers of how much that one made, but it was end of last year is when they released the final content for it because it was so big. But yeah, amazing game series. I've honestly never read the books.
I hadn't either. He's been writing these books for, I guess, 30 years. There are 8 of them so far. Netflix has just picked up the license. He actually got a deal this time. He's going to be a co-executive producer. So the Netflix is going to put out a series based on the books, not the video games. So how that's going to differ from the video games, I really couldn't tell
I
you.
mean, I'm not sure what timeline or where they fall in kind of the game series, because like I said, I know they just took that material and moved it over. But the first one kind of starts off with, there definitely stuff happened in the first game before you were in the first game. So it's, I'm interested in it. I mean, Netflix makes amazing shows. They stand behind their product, and they invest into it. And this is going to be definitely. I can't see you making this without it being heavy production side.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be like Game of Thrones production side, depending on how big they want the world to be and how much money they're willing to throw at it. Because there's a lot to that world, and it's dragons and monsters, and so.
Well, I'm interested because there's a curse when it comes to. I mean, this is a novel series, not the video game series being, but still, when it comes to video games, what are they about? The games and the books.
Yeah. So The Witcher, he is a kind of supernatural fighter of demons and monsters, and the game series follows, the first one at least, starts off with him having some amnesia and kind of gets you into like why you are not the big awesome dude that you were previous to him waking up. So you go around. It's open world games, and you fight monsters and creatures and dragons and subdue them. And there's a lot of sex. The third one especially. It's I think considered one of the most graphic games. But yeah, you're fighting all sorts of supernatural and monsters and dragons. And
is it just him, or is there a family? 'Cause I noticed in this they mentioned the family.
There's a group.
Okay.
He's like the main character, and then at one point he's betrayed and set up to have killed the king. At one point, I think that's the second one, if I remember right. And that's how that one. Maybe that is the third one plot. It's been a while. But one of them he's set up to have killed the king, and he's trying to find out who actually did it, and
Murder mystery,
spy, espionage.
So there you go. That's what The Witcher is. But what I was getting at is there's kind of a curse when it comes to video games and trying to turn them into a movie or TV property. You could say Resident Evil was a success to a point. I mean, they've had up to million.
They've made more money than I have.
Haven't been that great of movies, but they've been able to keep making them. But for the most part, when it comes to video games, they don't do that well. And then now Netflix may be turning that around. I mean, they got Castlevania. They're working on that.
Yeah, I forgot about that right now, yeah.
I mean, this, like I said, this is based on the books, not the video games, but still kind of the same. Netflix is just, man, they're owning it.
Yeah, they're willing to take chances that networks will not take. And I think that's honestly what we need. And because, I mean, networks are just putting out the same drivel, essentially. Just what kind of hashtag comedy can we make? What kind of drama? What kind of procedural?
Well, it seems like repeatedly, TV and movies, a studio will hire a director for their vision. And then the director wants to do this. And the studio gets cold feet because, well, we don't know if that's going to work. Here, put it in this template. The template works. So what starts off as a great, amazing, original idea ends up getting shoehorned into this pre-made package, and it's not as good as it could have been.
Yeah, so this been one of my favorite things about Netflix with their original stuff, and they decided they were going to do that. I was skeptical when their very first time they announced that, like, hey, there's going to be Netflix originals. I'm like, man, what are they going to do with their own content? That seems crazy. Because it was just in my head, Netflix is other people's content. And I was just like, man, what are they going to do? But then I was like, thought about it. I was like, wait, Netflix is just sitting on like a Scrooge McDuck-sized vault of cash, and they're like, we need something to do with this. There's only so much we can reinvest into our infrastructure and reinvest into contracts. So now, they've made all sorts of Netflix original series and shows and movies, and I mean, they may not everyone may like each genre or thing, but I don't think any of them have truly been like bad. Like most of them are like really good, especially if you like whatever the thing was. Like, was it their horror thing? Is it their drama? Is it their Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt comedy series? Like, you may not like that particular thing, but I think generally Netflix has done really good at doing each of those things for the target audience that they're trying to go for.
And it's mind-blowing, because we've talked about it, Sean and Mike, before, when they had their first Netflix original. We're like, wow, is this going to work? I mean, are they going to make any money? And now, it seems like every week there's a new announcement, Netflix original series, Netflix original series.
Yeah.
And like you said, every one of them is just spot on. They're great.
And it's like, and they're willing to pay, like, the actors, they're willing to pay, like, when they sign up to do it, they're like, all right, we're doing this, we're giving you the money to make the show. We're not going to be like, can you do it on, like, $27.50?
$27.50.
Here's some styrofoam, here's some, like, yeah, it's a monster, go for it.
You look at, like, Sci-Fi Channel and their sci-fi originals. I mean, some of them, like Battlestar Galactica. I love Battlestar Galactica.
Which there's an announcement there.
There is an announcement there, but a lot of their shows, Sharknado, and then you look at the Netflix stuff, and you're like, wow, how does that happen?
It's weird to see how different sci-fi is from where it started to where it is now. And they even, like, at one point really issued an apology that they have kind of alienated some of their fans from what they had originally, the networks kind of set up to do. And then I think they're trying recently to get back.
I think their Krypton series could do well for them.
I hope it does. I'm going to be honest, I have no interest in it.
I have no interest either.
Like, none. Like,
but still, a sci-fi kind of drama, I
know how it
think that
ends.
could hit.
It's like Titanic. Planet blows up.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Sorry for not today on Superman.
Yeah, Superman fans, sorry. But yeah, talking about Battlestar Galactica, there's a new video game coming out, which I find somewhat odd, because the series has been over for years.
Still trying to get that money.
There's nothing really new coming out, but there's a new video game, Battlestar Galactica Deadlock. Takes place. It mentioned 4 years.
Yeah, that's why I watched the trailer and everything. It's 4 years. So you have to tell me, because I didn't. So I've watched the original, like the 60s, 70s Battlestar Galactica, or maybe 70s, 80s, I think is when that was. I've only seen a handful of the actual newer Battlestar Galactica episodes, and then there was the one that was the prequel series.
Blood and Chrome?
Yes, that had Alessandra Tori, she was like the main
That
Cylon
was... Yeah, that was it. No, Caprica. They were talking about?
Caprica. Yeah, that was it.
There's been a lot. That was kind of became what sci-fi was known for a small amount of time. That was the reason to tune into sci-fi. And then Caprica just didn't, despite a lot of fans really clamoring for it, for whatever, I don't know if it's too expensive. They dropped it, and then it seemed like people kind of forgot sci-fi existed, except for Sharknado.
Yeah, so because Battlestar Galactica was one of the reasons that they stopped Stargate Continuum, is because they were comparing that against Battlestar Galactica, and that was kind of, I think, a big rut they got into. They started comparing every show against, well, it's not doing the ratings Battlestar Galactica did. Well, it's the first season of a show. I'm like,
Battlestar Galactica did some really interesting, I mean, the cast of that show was brought before the UN to talk about world peace, treatment of prisoners, because they dealt with that sort of thing on the show. That's unheard of.
yeah,
We don't know
go to the experts at least.
How should we work with this? Get those people from that TV show. They know. The ones with the robots.
Yeah.
Kind of weird. But anyway.
They're trying to make sure the robots didn't rise up. They're trying to, how can we treat the robots better?
Affirmative action for the robots. That's our key thing right there. But anyway, look that up. Battlestar Galactica Deadlock. It's not out yet, but I believe there's a beta sign up. Looks like a space tactical 3D game. Trailer looked pretty interesting. I'm not really a.
I'm willing to bet you'll get some more snippets here as soon as E3 really kicks off. So
Is that next month?
yeah, June. I think it's the first week of June or second week of June. But yeah, E3, big electronics. Week 2 of June. So big electronics gaming expo. It's where pretty much all the major game announcements and everything like that. So there'll probably be some pretty big announcements there. They've already leaked a couple. Destiny 2's, they just leaked and actually did the trailer there. So I think there's been a couple others that they've hinted there are going to be big announcements there. So
E3 is always fun to watch just because of the announcements and new tech, new games, things to look forward to. And we are over time.
means he has to do editing.
Yeah. No, I don't.
Oh.
Didn't get to talk about Lovecraft Country, darn it. If you watched Get Out, Jordan Peele's movie, he's cut a deal with HBO. Lovecraft Country is a novel, takes place in the 1950s, Jim Crow era. You have a soldier's returned home. You got him, his uncle, and a childhood friend. His dad has disappeared, been kidnapped, and they're going across the country to try and find him. So they're dealing with...
I've heard that plot before.
So
Is there a monster in it?
Many. Many of the Lovecraftian horrors they have to deal with as they're on their way to the East Coast.
Do they have a black car or maybe a black carriage?
Maybe. But the book, I've got it. I'm ashamed to say I've not yet read it. It's just been kind of sitting there. But apparently it's done well enough that they've picked it up. Jordan Peele, J.J. Abrams, HBO feel it's good enough for a series, so that will go into production here shortly. So look forward to that. And we're 6 minutes over. I'm not going to edit, so take that. Like Harrison, I'm on camera, and we're going over. Oh, can you do me a favor? Go like this. Lightning effect. Sorry, Mike. Okay, everybody. We will see you next week. We are GeekStorm. I am Mike Dukes. This is Nick Gray. We are filming in the heart of downtown Kokomo. Kokomo Toys and Collectibles. 111 East Sycamore. Come check them out. Comics Cube down the road. Mercury Dream Hi-Fi next door. Studio Black Antiques. Geek Street's where it's at. Get down here. See you next week.